Hey, welcome to Campaign de Cuellar. My name is Vanessa and this is Dr. Ada Cuellar. What's up? We are actually starting this podcast because we want to introduce you to Doc as a candidate of District 15.
We're doing things real different.
We are. We decided we wanted to give you guys a space to get to know her. And we're really looking forward to letting you guys know where she stands on some policies and what she can do to help us improve our area.
And the plan is to do this every single week, right?
Every single week.
Yeah.
Rain or shine. So, Doc, why don't we go ahead and begin? Why don't you
Okay.
just tell us about yourself and where you're from and give us a foundation?
I'm from Weslaco, Texas. Mile 10 3/4 north.
Go
in Weslaco,
Panthers?
Texas. Panthers, yeah.
Panthers. All right.
Yeah. So
Born and raised?
born and raised in Weslaco. Came from a family that didn't have much money, but my parents were really good about making sure we had a good education. They bought us books. We had a whole encyclopedia set and books like the Arabian Nights. And they taught us how to read when we were 3. And basically, that reading foundation, that curiosity they built in us, made me a great student.
And who's us? How many siblings do you have?
I have 4 younger siblings, 4 brothers.
4 brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what did your parents do growing up?
My dad's an electrician, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So she spent a lot of time with us, teaching us how to read. I remember sometimes helping me with editing my essays, things like that.
When did you decide to become a doctor?
Senior year.
Wow. You knew?
I wanted to be a writer, and I still do.
Okay. So a writer, and then it segued into medicine.
Yeah, because I just felt like I had to help my family.
Yeah.
A lot of struggles going on in my family, and I also thought I like helping people, so why not try this? And I had a lot of AP exam credits. I had passed 10 AP exams, so I thought, well, let me maximize that, go to Pan Am, get a lot of credits there, and try to get through in 2 years and go straight to med school, and then I can get back a lot quicker to help my family.
Yeah, I think a lot of us in District 15 or everybody that in our Texas area can resonate with that. The family's number one. And speaking of family, you have a daughter.
I have one daughter, 11 years old.
Right. And but I guess what made you decide, hey, I need to put my hat in and I need to run for District 15?
There's a lot, but I think we have the 3 core issues, the economy, education, and healthcare.
Okay. Why economy?
Well, I think it's been an issue since I was a young kid. A low-income family, a lot of people in my family who were low income, not college educated, and that continues to be an issue in this area.
When did you realize that there was a difference of, I guess, the different classes of economy, right? When you knew that you didn't have maybe what some of your classmates did?
I think it was pretty quick because I tend to be in the GT classes and honors classes, and I felt like even a lot of students that were there were more advantaged,
Mm-hmm.
like parents who were educated, parents who were teachers, lawyers, things like that.
Right. And I think that how you said you decided to choose a profession because you knew you needed to help your family
Yeah.
economically. And I think so many of us, I just was at lunch and the waiter stopped football his senior year because he was helping his family. And so I think especially now, there's going to be a lot of shifting and going back to family. And then you said education.
Because I know how important it is. And it got me out of the situation I was in.
Right.
I was able to basically read a lot of books, be a great student, and make it turn into a great career.
Right. And then you were granted the opportunity to go. And where did you go to school? Tell us about that.
So I went to UT Pan Am. I got a full scholarship, and then I took out some Pell Grants and I think maybe some other grants. I'm not sure. So did that in 2 years. And then after that, went to medical school in Galveston. And then after that, went to residency at Temple in Philadelphia.
Oh, nice. And then you were a doc by how old?
Well, I was a doc when I was 24.
Okay.
And I finished my residency at 27. So
Yeah.
I was an attending at 27.
And then you decided to come back home.
Yeah.
To provide healthcare to our community.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because that's one of also your other core issue.
Yeah. Well, I really loved Philadelphia, and it was hard to leave.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come back, just in general. I looked at San Antonio, but part of me felt like maybe I got the opportunity to go to medical school so early because at that time they were recruiting people who were from the Valley to come back and be doctors here. So I thought, well, that's kind of the tipping point. So I'll come back home. Good job. And come back home to the Valley because they recruited me to be a doctor for the Valley.
An emergency room physician.
Yeah.
When did you decide that you want to be in the ED?
Well, we usually have to decide 3rd year
Mm-hmm.
in med school. So that was the time.
Any specific experience that made you choose AD?
Yeah, it was pediatric ER.
Oh,
That
pediatrics.
was the first time that I was in the ER,
Wow,
and it was really fun.
that's hardcore.
The people were cool, and getting to help little kids was awesome.
So then, you came home, and now you're seeing how important policies in healthcare help our community.
Help or hurt? I feel like right now there's a lot that's hurting the community. Obviously, the big beautiful bill, whenever it finally has effects, is going to be really bad. It's going to cut Medicaid.
Yeah, we were doing the stats on just District 15, and as it is aligned right now, and it's about 41%, almost half of the district
Yeah.
will be losing Medicaid.
Yeah, and it's really a lie that it's all about making sure that people who have Medicaid are the types that really deserve it.
Right.
The work requirements really aren't going to do much as far as getting people off who don't deserve it. It's going to be more that you're going to harm the people who deserve it, who just for whatever reason can't get the paperwork done or can't keep up with the requirements.
Yeah, it's not so easy to have it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hurdles in place. But I think as well as you can speak to how is that going to affect the emergency room?
I mean, the emergency rooms are already in terrible shape now.
Yeah.
So if you have even less people who are insured, at least with Medicaid, then obviously the ER situation is going to be a lot worse. It's going to be more crowded, more boarding, longer wait times. And that ends up affecting you if you don't have Medicaid.
We haven't even talked about your next step. What is going to happen in December?
The law school, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what's going on in December? I was very confused for a bit.
What's happening in December? Hello, you're not gonna have a kid in December.
I'm like,
you're the one. How do I am so more excited about
there's
this
so
than you?
much going on in my life right now. I can't keep up.
This is true, but
I'm like, am I going on a trip in December?
no. There's a big thing happening in December. You're gonna graduate from law school
Right.
too. What law school are you at?
Syracuse Law.
So we're gonna have someone from the Valley who didn't have the means but got through everything to become not only a doctor but a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I think that's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Especially as a single mom. You made it work. You made it happen.
Sometimes it feels like it's not working. This finals week was terrible.
I bet. That's gotta be brutal. But juggling life, I think a lot of single moms, even moms in general, can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because you have many hats and you have to just keep taking one on to put on the other. And I think, like we said in the beginning, we're going to do things differently.
Yeah.
We're going to meet the people where you're at. Doc is very accessible.
Right.
You guys can talk or find our information online.
I'm like too accessible.
Yeah, at times. No, but we want you to know your issues. We want to know what is close to your heart, what's hurting you.
And basically, this campaign is focused on talking to as many people as possible because that's how we're going to be in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
No walls or minimal walls. Talking to people, not just talking to lobbyists.
Right.
Because I think that's really important. And this is a campaign like we talked about. It's a campaign of we the people, not we the establishment.
Right. Right. And like when we both prescribe meds, when a medication doesn't work, you have to switch.
Yeah.
And if the system or the strategies that you're using are not working, it's time to switch up the game.
Well, yeah. And also, I guess if we are overwhelmed with talking to people, then maybe we'll have to dial it down a little bit, but we'll try to talk to as many people as possible.
How do you feel like the response has been since you've launched?
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are super excited about me.
It is exciting to talk to people one-on-one. Once people hear what we're planning to do, and our different approach, then they get on board. And that's exciting. I will say this. You're one of the few docs that, if I say, hey, we do this, what about this? You're very open-minded, which I absolutely love because we have to just nobody's perfect. Nobody's everybody can bring something and help us be most effective.
Yeah.
And and we have a great team. Man, they're great. So we lean on them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just makes sense. If you want to be great at anything, you can't just think that you're the greatest and you don't need any input.
Right.
And that's what we have right now with Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really understand the struggles that people have because I've lived them.
Yeah.
So, for example, growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. So, we'd have to go to Mexico to get healthcare a lot of times. We didn't have health insurance most of the time. I also remember my classmates getting to go on trips and I didn't really go anywhere. And that made me feel really bad. And for whatever reason, that started to fuel me. That's why I have to be great at school because I got to have these opportunities to travel or whatever it was. So that's like part of what makes me who I am now. Like
It
I have this incredible drive to help people and to do something because of what I lived.
Yeah, it was your controllable, your work ethic.
Yeah. And I really want other kids to have that opportunity too. I see what's happening now. I see how Trump basically is saying it's all about scores. And I know what it's like to be from this area and how it's not exactly easy to
Yeah.
get those scores, even though you're really smart. And
Yeah,
so it bothers me that other kids may not have the opportunities to get out like I did.
right, and we spoke about when I was a teacher, I had to teach about the word departure, and I told my students, well, just like the airport, arrival and
Yeah.
departure, and they didn't know what an airport was.
Right.
So we're already at a disadvantage
Yeah.
when you have those scored tests because the kids are not up to speed of what that word meant. So
Yeah.
how are we
Just
going to
because
get
they
that?
didn't travel.
Exactly.
And that's what
Exactly.
people don't realize. Just because they don't have these opportunities that other people think are just average opportunities, you don't know what an airport is, or
Mhm.
not that you don't know what an airport is, but you don't know what departures are.
Mhm.
You don't know all about going to Washington D.C. or New York City and things like that.
Right. And we've talked about how in our area sometimes they don't even have gas money to go to the next town, or
Yeah,
go to get food at the homeless shelter
yeah,
if they don't have any because
yeah,
we don't have those funds and we don't
yeah,
have public transportation.
yeah,
Um, we lack a lot of resources that other areas may think that this is a norm, but
yeah.
not in this area.
And I also see the score issue impacting people like me. Back in 2002, maybe I don't get into med school with the MCAT score that I had.
Right.
And maybe I have to wait. And maybe that ends up changing the entire course of my story. Because especially when you don't have any backup, you don't have any savings, your parents don't have any savings. Maybe I go to become a teacher and then I just kind of lose track of becoming a doctor.
Yeah, because probably you're helping your family
Yeah.
financially at that time too.
Yeah. So I think people are not really talking about it.
Yeah.
The score issue is massive, and that's going to limit the opportunities for our kids.
Right.
It doesn't matter what your ethnicity is, a lot of these schools just don't prepare you to get the scores, and it's not the teacher's fault.
No.
It's a lack of resources, and it's the teaching to the test. And I just get really sad about that.
You don't put somebody in a wheelchair in front of
Yeah,
a staircase and measure them on how can you get up the staircase.
right.
You provide them a ramp,
Yeah.
to be able to have accessibility.
Well, then I see the healthcare issues all the time, even with my own family, even when I'm not in the ER. All of my grandparents are still living,
Which
which
is
is
a
amazing.
miracle. How old are they?
90s and then about 87, the other
Wow.
pair.
So
Yeah.
you really know how it is to take care of the elderly.
Yes. Yeah.
The family does.
Right.
And that's a huge
Yeah. So my
dynamic.
mom and my aunt are caregiving, which is very stressful. They're actually getting sicker because of the caregiving.
Yeah.
Sometimes have to take my grandpa to the ER or
Hmm.
my grandma. And one of the recent times they didn't want to stay there because the wait time was going to be so horrible. So I ended up having to help with a hernia that my grandpa has.
And not everybody has that.
Right.
I I,
I mean,
I
most
know.
people don't have someone who can reduce a hernia.
Right. Like that's like an anomaly.
Yeah.
Who does that? But yeah, luckily you have that education and know how to help him in that moment. The lack of knowledge of medical emergencies, we saw it during COVID.
Yeah.
Like our area, we had to really educate them of what's a good oxygen measure,
Hmm.
so that they could go into
Yeah.
the facilities.
I mean, a lot of these things are interconnected. I really feel like K through 12 education should implement a lot of health education, but you can't really do that if you have to teach to the test.
Yeah. We're missing our life skills,
Yeah.
and that's nobody's fault but the systems. I think the overall goal is we need to move the needle, and we need to make sure that the people's voices are heard.
Well, and obviously, like I said, we have to just show up and talk because otherwise people can't connect with us. And then, we're kind of dehumanized in some way. And there is a lot of accessibility, like we talked about, but sometimes I'm too accessible, apparently.
Yeah, you are.
And
Well, I think that
then I get angry mom Vanessa.
angry mom Vanessa. You're gonna already tell them episode 1. Angry mom Vanessa. This is why we have me and
That's
a
why I
team.
was giggling so much before we started because she was not being an angry mom.
It was a miracle. But here we are as medical providers going, okay, what are next steps?
Oh, we are thinking about if the cuts are really bad and people can't get care, maybe start like a free clinic.
Yeah, and it'll be great because we have emergency room experience, but,
Yeah.
um
Well, emergency room, and I do urgent care
right.
essentially too, and some primary care.
Well, and I would love to include all of our colleagues, but they're spent. Primary care, they're my heroes, you
I think
know?
everyone's spent honestly in all of medicine. That's
Yeah,
what I'm hearing from
yeah,
almost every specialty. Um, Everyone's struggling,
yeah.
and people are retiring early or working part-time, and, I think the RFK hate really hurts when people are burnt out and hurting as doctors.
I think you hit the nail on the head. We have to keep going and keep looking for, how do we collaborate?
Yeah, so these are the things we're gonna talk about in other episodes, right? We gotta talk about our healthcare policy and other policy ideas that we have. But
Right.
I think that's, good for today.
Yeah. Well, this is great, guys.
Fun
Get ready
times,
for more.
and, learn more about me at drquayadforcongress.com. Until next time.
Bye-bye.